If zombie apocalypse, what unexpected problem will arise? Batteries. I'm one of the few people who watches The Walking Dead with fear. Just saw someone in the show use a flashlight years after the apocalypse began. A few weeks ago, when we lost power, it turned out that our flashlight from last year had run out of batteries. There will be a certain amount of the population that will try to have sexual intercourse with zombies. Hygiene. Many people take for granted the fact that we have free access to soap, and they don't realize how easy it is to die from a small infected cut without it. Prescription drugs. Personally, I don't take any medications, but I know people who do and will eventually die without them. Even if you manage to break into a pharmacy, the medication would not last long. If you're lucky, the zombies will decompose until they die. But we can only hope that this will happen. Uncontrolled release of toxic and hazardous substances as a result of the destruction of industrial facilities due to lack of regular maintenance. Dams move, water floods everything downstream. Overheating of a power plant or pressure increase and detonation. Toxic chemicals seeping into the groundwater or getting into the air in fires. We have created a world in which we can only survive if we keep it afloat. The thing is, it will end pretty quickly. The pipes near the equator will be at the mercy of bugs, bacteria, heat, and humidity. By the end of the month, they will be piles of bones and slime. Zombies have no metabolism because they are dead, and so they do not produce their own heat. The first freeze turns every zombie into a statue. The freezing and thawing process will eventually lead to the complete destruction of their muscle and skin tissue. Briefly, for those who don't like to read, nature will kick the zombie apocalypse's ass. For some reason, most survivalists don't think about fitness. You will have as many weapons, ammunition, and food as your bunker can hold. But as soon as it runs out, you will have to go outside. And there you will need strong muscles and endurance to survive. Toilet paper for sure. If COVID has taught us anything, most dog owners will have to choose between killing their dog or dying. The vast majority of dogs are not trained to sit quietly when scary things happen outside. I think my snoring will be a problem. I'll find a good hiding place, stay overnight, and in 10 minutes everyone within a mile radius will know where I am. Without permanent fire stations, cities will burn like matches. It turns out that aiming at the head of zombies on the run is not so easy, especially for people who have never held a weapon in their hands. It is dangerous to sleep next to others because people sometimes die in their sleep. Imagine breaking or losing your glasses while running away from or fighting zombies. You'll have a hard time if you're nearsighted like me. Mosquitoes. They're assholes everywhere. You're more likely to become a zombie from a mosquito bite than a zombie bite. Stairs for people whose apartments are located somewhere on the 70th floor of a skyscraper. The zombie epidemic will be similar to any other pandemic. People will hide the fact that they have been bitten, try to escape from quarantine zones, and protect their infected loved ones. People will think it's a hoax and not prepare for survival. It is very difficult to break another person's skull. Most people will not manage it the first time. This will probably lead to them getting bitten. Getting enough clean water to drink. Dependence on electricity and gas supply, food, and the ability to heat and cook what you have. Let's say most people have about a week's worth of food at home, maybe a little more, before they start using canned food. If you live in a city and the electricity goes out in your apartment because there is a problem with the gas, you will have to be really creative in the process of cooking. In addition, frozen food will also spoil after a while, so it's better to eat it right away or figure out a way to cool it down. What if the water is cut off? What to do when you run out of food? Asking neighbors or hoping that someone has a bunch of stuff. At some point, you will have to look for food by leaving your comfort zone, the relative safety of your home. And that's when infection will become a serious risk. How popular will necromancers become? How quickly people will start getting sick from canned food? Dental hygiene for zombies. They must have healthy teeth and gums to gnaw on bones and meat. Many people overestimate how hard it will be to fight a zombie and often apply the rules of fighting living people to such scenarios. It is much easier to break someone's legs than to break their skull. And it is even easier to break ribs or spine than to break legs. Most people would foolishly try to kill an already dead zombie and thus die themselves, whereas a better idea would be to immobilize the zombie. Depending on how the zombie's body works, It may even be easier to break the spinal cord, paralyze and mobilize the nervous system, or catch the zombie. Catching a zombie can be a good option for different scenarios, depending on how hostile other people are, how decadent the society is, and how smart the zombies are. If the zombies are stupid enough, you can capture them and keep them in cages to protect your base from hostile people. You just need to release zombies to drive those people away. Zombies can also be defeated by completely destroying them. For example, lynch them or burn them in fire until they turn into heads. In the event of a full-scale collapse of society, complete anarchy, you will encounter hostile groups of survivors and have to defend yourself from them as well. Using the method of capturing zombies mentioned earlier can be very successful, but it should be used only in extreme cases because of the risks associated with releasing zombies. They can follow you and the risks associated with capturing new copies. For basic defense, you need a defensive wall, preferably with small tower-like protrusions that will serve as watchtowers. Depending on the size of your group of survivors, you may need a larger or smaller wall to properly accommodate areas such as sleeping areas, social areas, storage areas for essential items, and food-related areas. For self-defense and hunting and gathering useful, it is advisable to have at least one hidden sharp object, a knife or machete, and one large blunt object. In the case of a containment and prevention scenario, you must defend yourself against the disinformation of those who deny all the risks of patients who have escaped from quarantine. This will probably be similar to COVID and other pandemics and can be safe if proper precautions are taken. In this scenario, pepper spray or anti-bear spray is a good idea to scare away zombies you come across by accident. One thing people never seem to think about is education. It takes forever for a child to learn how to tell time, read and write, use grammar, and how to generally behave with others. However, many of the children in zombie stories grow up to be people fit for modern Western society. They understand the concept of time and can read old comics from abandoned shops without trying to understand them. We usually spend years watching them over and over again after school almost every day before we can comprehend all their meaning. It seems that post-apocalyptic education is the way out. We are running out of fuel. In zombie movies, there is never a situation of running out of fuel. Regular gasoline has a shelf life of 3 to 6 months, while diesel can last up to a year. These terms can be extended with additives, but this is never mentioned. Every time you see a movie about the apocalypse where cool kids ride motorcycles in gangs, you know that bikes and sailboats will be at the top. Your boss will still be waiting for you at work, and fast food won't be relevant anymore. So I hope you know how to cook. And good luck if it can be stopped by masks or a virus. We've all seen it happen before. LOL. What are they not thinking about? They may need to put an end to their families suffering with their own hands, which is much more likely than any other scenario. Friends, thank you for watching. In the comments below the video, please write what problem you might face during the zombie apocalypse. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episodes. See you soon.